Okay, for this last step, we're going to determine the population densities for Cache County based on census block. And then we're going to try and answer the question of the Logan census blocks, which one has the highest and lowest population densities. So if we look in the attribute table for the census block data, we have information, a lot of it. This is typical of census data, although this is a very small table relative to what we normally see. But the things we're going to use are population, and they call it Pop 100. This VTD field contains information about the city. This would be, if you're not from here, that's fine. This is Nibley, Logan, Hiram, Wellsville. Okay. So we're going to end up wanting to pull out the Logan blocks. Population is back here. Well, it's in here someplace. You're going to have to take my word for it. I've probably just gone by it 3 times. All right, there we go, Pop 100. Okay, so that's our population per block. To get at density, we want to get rid of the idea of having a population per random enumeration unit. We want to get it to something normalized, like people per acre, people per square meter, or something like that. So to do that, let's add a field and just calculate new. We could calculate our area here, but let's just create a new field, 1 for habit and 2 so we can put the units in there. Let's make it float just because it's a good habit as well. There seems to be some weird glitches with calculating areas as integers. Make sure there's nothing selected because it'll only run on a selected feature. Calculate geometry. And we want area. This is a good coordinate system for Utah, so that makes sense. And then we're going to calculate it in acres. Make sure you don't accidentally choose Aries. That's not the same thing. Okay, this should populate, and we should see a range of values, something like this. Now we need a new field where we're going to do a field calculation. We can call it pop density per acre. Something like that. You could call it people per acre, whatever you want. I'm going to also make it a float just because that's my absolute preference. And here, this time, instead of doing geometry, we're going to calculate between fields. We want to divide the population. So here you can see this is the header. So population density in acres equals, so we don't have to put that again. This is good to know because, for example, if you wanted to populate a field and put text in here, like you selected a whole bunch of points and you were going to label them parking and a bunch of other points you were going to call Riverside, you could just type that in here. You don't have to say type equals or, you know, popden AC equals. It'll actually error out. So just a little aside. So population divided by our area in acres. Grind away. Oh, great. So what happened? Maybe we're dividing by 0. Let's see if that's a thing. Nope, none of them are zeros. Did you guys all just watch me try and divide population by the field itself and not say anything? We don't want to calculate geometry. Sorry. We want to calculate a field calculator. I was right when I said, are we dividing by zeros? Boy, were we ever. Let's try this one more time. So population, hello, divided by, not by the population density, which is set at 0, because that will cause problems, but our area. Yeah, that's how you actually do it. Sorry about that little bit of confusion. So if we sort it, we've got a whole bunch of zeros, and then we have our max value, if it will allow me to scroll, and it's probably still just grinding away, is something else. And now what we're going to do is figure out which ones are in Logan. To do that, we can select by attribute, and we're going to use that VTD. We want to create a new selection, and we're going to use a like feature because remember, we have more than one. We want the first 3 to be Logan, but we're going to use a wildcard to fill in for any numbers that follow LOG. So we can use the like tool, and then I'm going to just type in Logan here to bring one of them up, and it's not going to cooperate. So we'll just double click on this one, and then I'm going to leave the single quote there replace the numbers with a percent sign. And it just selected 667 out of the total number of records, but most importantly we want to check and make sure they're all in Logan. And one way we can do that is to look at the VTD here and make sure that we have all of them as Logan, and we do. And then also to check the map, and if you're not from here, that's not going to help a lot, but this populated center of the map is the outlines of Logan City. So then the idea now that we have these selected would be to go over here and sort them. Our lowest is obviously 0, and our high is 105.859 people per acre. All right, and that's it. Thanks.